Hello guys, welcome back in our YouTube channel with me Ogi and Jeeves in our journey into Star Atlas Metaverse. Continuation of the lore from the Prime Mover. Everything has price, part 2. Reading by Jeeves. Check this out.
Every single contract offered by the Tufa Merc Brokers always had a catch. Over the years she only accepted a few of their outrageous contracts. They paid so well that the temptation had been too much for her to walk away. Her liquid nanite combat suit, Tufa contract. Her thread, Tufa contract. The Ambwe that she was now cocooned in at the moment, Tufa contract. And the offers often arrived at moments in her career when she wanted some tech or weapon that was obscenely expensive. She closed her eyes, the boring eyes of a biologic. And now, when she mulled over new eyes, had calculated she would need several contracts to earn enough, well, that was when the offer magically came her way. Her skin crawled and she almost gave the command to close all communication channels, but then Ship began to translate the details from the Tufa. Ship wasn't some low-level friend bot, it was a lattice-layered neural net, but despite the pet airdrops she knew the task was beyond its scope. The thousands of Tufa dialects and languages were not only dense, but they all shared the custom of being extremely reluctant to arrive at a specific point in any conversation. Instead they talked around the idea, threaded words through needles and wove a tapestry of confusion. She recalled hearing, at some janky orbital above the blasted surface of Second Chance, that the first envoy from the Council of Peace almost failed. Not because of malice but because they couldn't spend another standard year in negotiations. In the end all that was established was that the Tufa would no longer attack any exploration or trading ship near their sector. Most of the time. The Sagarath cave singing faded. Ship sent a soft tickle of static charge on her forearm to let her know it had determined the translation was complete. Greetings. It has been brought to my attention, over the course of several iterations of Nova Mother, may her grace stratify the layers of the very structure of your mind and personhood, that your exploits are worthy of esteem. My client, one of the utmost vigor and stealthy fortitude, who due to the station of their position of leadership within the very core of one of the councils of advisors to the mighty Tufa triumvirate of power and grace, and due to your previous execution of multiple contracts, as well as the nature of your discretion, that I made a point in detailing, to the best of my ability, the expansive suite of your talent and... As the preamble droned on, Xylee gave Ship a sub-vocal command. Any future translations need not be accurate. Ship was to scrub the Tufa's communication and script a subroutine to produce a succinct translation. When there finally was a pause, she replied that she might be interested, but she needed actual details. She thanked the Tufa for the offer, but she asked to be given the specifics of the job. There was a delay as Ship made an effort to trim down the Tufa's response. A whiff of warm air from the vent above and a low tone let her know that Ship needed a few more seconds. And then... We need you two to commander a prototype of a new generation of the Council of Peace's Pierce X6 for my client's collection. You are instructed to subdue the crew, as well as to guarantee they will not report the theft to the Council. You will then transport it to these coordinates, 1119.b x 197,829. Xylee was about to disconnect in disgust. This was such an insane proposition on every level. Let alone what she knew what the Tufa meant by subduing the crew so it was not possible for them to report the crime. And commander a prototype version of the workhorse of the cops? Every Tufa broker knew she could never again enter any sector of Uster, nor only and most of all, the place of her homeworld, MUD space. And the laughable cover story, for some mysterious client's collection? As in Starship Collection? But the best part was she was expected to deliver the ship to a region that was on the brink of war. There was no way the Uster would continue to allow the Oni to keep sniffing around whatever they were building around that neutron star. Instead, she learned how to survive out here in the dark, where the only constant was chaos and survival. But what insanity was all of this? How would she ever be expected to even deliver the ship without being reduced to a glittering field of debris? A moment before she gave the command to disconnect the Invincible ship translated the final contract detail. It was hard to surprise herself. She wasn't one to drill down and discover how her mind worked, but it astonished her how quickly her previous concern winked out of existence. The revulsion of what she would have to do was already cast beyond the horizon. The near impossibility of being able to close the contract and deliver the X6 faded away to the back of her mind. This offer was several times larger than she had ever made, even more than those horrible jobs she had taken in order to get off planet and purchase a ship. The amount she would make would allow her to live her dream. She could pay off her brother's debt, she could hire enough pilots to field a fleet of mercenaries that could dictate the terms of every contract. She could buy her new eyes and finally pilot a ship that would shrug off a pirate attack with ease. No more solo jobs. She could finally afford to find her family. Not the family she had been born of, the family she needed to discover, those of her tribe, those that had walked a path that was littered with regret. Her people down, that was what all this work had been for, right? To be a commander of a... No, she just didn't want to do this alone any longer. She feared if she kept going she would lose whatever was left of her soul. She didn't want to lose the young Xylee who lay on the plus-on panels of their modest home and counted the flashes of starships winking into no space. Ship sent a pulse through the hull, it was like a subtle cough to get her attention. She hadn't responded. If she accepted the contract, she knew she would have less than a 5% chance of succeeding in living to regret as well as gloat about it. It was madness. And yet, everything has a price.
Hello guys, thank you so much for watching us in our YouTube channel with me, Ogie and Jeeves, in our journey into Star Atlas Metaverse. And don't forget to subscribe our YouTube channel. Don't forget also join us with the club. And Jeeves would love to share his lore with you again. So stay tuned and see you in the next lore. Thank you so much.